Hello everyone, my name is Kat and I'm here to show you a method of teaching sight words called orthographic mapping. First, let's define what a sight word is. A sight word is a word that is identified by a student instantly and effortlessly, regardless of whether it is phonetically regular or irregular. Let's start with these words. Tree, sticky, and laugh. As we learned in speech to print, that TR consonant blend can be confused with a CHR, a tr. That's why time and again we see kids writing train for the word train. And sticky gets tricky because of that Y that's hanging off the back, or maybe the sound of that short I, because it can be confused with a long I. And the word laugh is really laughable. Like, how did this word end up like this? Well, I had to find out. Let me show you this real quick. So it has a long history dating back quite a bit of time. So let's take a look at the approach to teaching orthographic mapping. The theory behind this approach is that all words are made up of sounds, and there's a letter or letters that make up those sounds. This is the map. It consists of a large gray box where the counters will go, and then a series of boxes that are gray on the top and white on the bottom. The color of the counters do not matter, but I do prefer that students choose one consistent color. We're not color coding letters and sounds. I have seen a company do this with orthographic mapping, and I discussed this at length with Catherine Pace Miles, who studied under Dr. Airy, and she is a associate professor at Brooklyn College now. And when we're working with students who have only so much working memory or just a limited amount of working memory, we don't want to overload them with any kind of color coding. So here's the approach. I'm going to start with a simple sight word and move on to a more complex one. I don't recommend giving or going to complex orthographic mapping if the student doesn't have advanced phonemic awareness. So with the student, I would say, I'm going to say a word, and the word is am. And students would repeat the word am. And then we would tap it out. Am. And as many of you know, that's an Orton-Gillingham approach to tapping out the sight words. Or you could even pound it out. And count the sounds. And students would, after tapping it out, I would write the word on a whiteboard. So I will write the word am. And then I would slide my finger across as I say the sounds. Then I would ask the students to say the sounds and move a counter with the sounds. And I would take away that word am, and I would ask them to write out the word am on their map. Now, with your map, it should have a plastic coating, but I just moved from my classroom of 22 years of teaching, and I can't find I can't find my plastic sleeves. So I'm going to write on this, and then I'll have to just print out a new one. So students would write Then I would ask them to put their top on their marker, and I would reveal the word am, and we would check to see if it was correct. Now, if a student were to write those sounds backwards, I would say, you know what, good job, you've got two sounds in am. You're absolutely right, there's two sounds. let's say the first sound, ah, and then we go and we check. Oh, that one, if it was an M, then we would say, oh, that one says, what sound does that sound make? And they might, hopefully they say, So we want them to correct their word. And then we would have them erase their word and put the counters back, and we would get ready for it. Well, am wasn't too difficult, so let's try a more complex word. So let's get back to that word, laugh. Students say the word laugh. Let's count the sounds. O, a, f. Or you might do laugh. O, a, f. And then we would move the counters. O, a, f. And I also like to do this with them. I like to say, what's the first sound you hear in laugh? Oh. And we point to that first counter. What's the second sound you hear? Ah. And we point to that. And what's the last sound you hear in laugh? And then I show them the word. And like, isn't this a crazy word? This is the word laugh. Now, this approach, at this point, I do this when teaching a word like this. Watch me. O, a, f. So what's the letter that you see that says O? And then we say L. And a U says a in this word. And G, H. Let's spell that word. L, A, U, G, H. And then we would take the word away. Laugh. O, a, f. And then we have the students write the word. O, a, students, put your marker down. Let's look at the word laugh. Did you get it? Yes, you did. Fantastic. So this is not one time. We're going to just teach the word laugh one time and they've got it. This might have to be repeated, and it probably will have to be repeated. We're trying to, in orthographic mapping, we're trying to connect the sounds with the letters. And that's a little bit different from the previous train of thought, where if we had a sight word that you couldn't sound it out and the letters didn't match and we couldn't teach it, you had to just memorize it. But in orthographic mapping, again, we're connecting the sounds, 3 sounds in this case, to the letters that represent those sounds.